Rebuilding yourself is not something you decide in a moment of motivation. It is something you decide after exhaustion, after disappointment, after realizing that continuing the same way hurts more than starting again. That realization doesn't arrive with excitement. It arrives quietly. It comes when you look at your life and feel a strange emptiness, not because nothing is happening, but because nothing is changing. You're busy, but you're not progressing. You're surviving, but you're not growing. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. And that's when the truth becomes unavoidable. Something needs to be rebuilt. Not your circumstances first. Not other people. Not luck. You. 2026 is not special because it's a new year. It's special because you are no longer willing to lie to yourself. You've tried motivation. You've tried waiting. You've tried hoping things would somehow improve on their own. They didn't. Because time doesn't heal what discipline avoids. Somewhere along the way, you stopped trusting yourself. Not because you were incapable, but because you made promises you didn't keep. Small ones at first. I'll start tomorrow. I'll be consistent this time. I'll finish what I begin. And every time you didn't follow through, something broke quietly inside you. Self-belief. So you adjusted your dreams to match your habits, instead of upgrading your habits to match your dreams. That's how people slowly shrink. Not in one dramatic failure, but in thousands of silent compromises. Rebuilding yourself means facing that honestly. No blaming circumstances. No blaming people. No blaming the past. Because blaming gives comfort, not control. And control is what you're after now. Starting from zero is not humiliation. It's clarity. Zero means no illusions. No pretending. No false confidence. Just truth. Truth about your discipline. Truth about your focus. Truth about the effort you've been avoiding. And the truth is uncomfortable, because rebuilding demands responsibility. It forces you to accept that no one is coming to save you. No perfect moment is arriving. No external push is strong enough to change a life that resists structure. So in 2026, you stop waiting for a feeling. You start building a system. You don't ask, am I motivated today? You ask, what needs to be done today? Because rebuilt people don't rely on emotions. They rely on standards. Standards for how they wake up. Standards for how they work. Standards for how they respond when life gets hard again. And it will get hard again. Rebuilding doesn't remove pain. It gives pain a purpose. You begin small. Painfully small. You wake up earlier than comfort prefers. You move your body even when energy is low. You work in silence, while others escape into distraction. At first, it feels pointless. Progress is slow. Results are invisible. Doubt is loud. Your mind reminds you of every past failure. Every time you started and stopped. Every reason to quit. But this time, something is different. This time, you don't negotiate. You don't look for inspiration. You don't wait for confidence. You act anyway. Because rebuilding is not about believing in yourself. It's about proving to yourself. Each disciplined action is a brick. Each completed task is another layer. Each day you don't quit strengthens the foundation. And slowly, without announcing it, your identity begins to change. You are no longer someone who wants to change. You are someone who is changing. Rebuilding costs you comfort. You lose lazy mornings. You lose familiar excuses. You lose relationships built on stagnation. People may not understand the new you. Some will mock the discipline. Some will feel threatened by your focus. Let them. Rebuilding is not a group activity. It's lonely by design. Because growth demands separation from who you were. And who you were was comfortable staying broken. 2026 is the year you stop romanticizing struggle and start respecting consistency. You stop chasing motivation and start building momentum. You stop asking life for fairness and start demanding effort from yourself. This is not a comeback story yet. This is construction. Messy, slow, unseen. And that's exactly why it works. Because what's built quietly lasts longer. What most people don't understand about rebuilding is this. The hardest part is not starting. The hardest part is continuing when nothing exciting happens. When there is no applause. When there is no visible reward. When days blur together and progress feels painfully slow. This is where most people quit again. Not because they are incapable, but because they expected rebuilding to feel empowering all the time. It doesn't. Most days, it feels repetitive, ordinary, unimpressive. You wake up, do the work, go to sleep, again, and again, and again. No dramatic transformation. No sudden confidence. No instant results. Just consistency. And consistency tests you in ways motivation never will. Because motivation asks, do you feel like doing this? Consistency asks, who are you when you don't? In 2026, You finally learn the difference. You learn that discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, especially when it's inconvenient, you restore something that was damaged over years of delay. Your self-trust. And self-trust is everything. Without it, goals feel impossible. With it, even the hardest days become manageable. Rebuilding yourself means becoming someone who does not abandon themselves anymore. Even when tired. Even when discouraged. Even when progress feels invisible. Especially then. You stop seeking validation from results and start valuing effort. You understand that results are a lagging indicator. They show up after discipline has already done its work. So you stop checking constantly. You stop rushing the process. You stop comparing timelines. Comparison was never fair anyway. You don't know what others sacrificed. You don't know what advantages they had. And none of that matters. Because rebuilding is not a race. It's a commitment. A commitment to show up regardless of mood. A commitment to improve even when no one notices. A commitment to keep going when quitting feels justified. And yes, there will be days you stumble. Days you miss your routine. Days you fall back into old habits. Days you feel like you failed again. But this time, you don't spiral. You don't label yourself broken. You don't quit entirely. You correct and continue. Because rebuilt people don't need perfection. They need persistence. You stop restarting from zero every time something goes wrong. You resume from experience. That is growth. That is maturity. And slowly, something profound happens. Your inner dialogue changes. You stop saying, I hope I can. You start saying, I will handle it. You stop fearing difficulty. You expect it. You stop wishing life were easier. You become stronger. This is how you rise again. Not with one defining moment, but with thousands of ordinary decisions made correctly. Your body gets stronger because you kept training when it was boring. Your mind gets sharper because you kept learning when it was uncomfortable. Your character gets stronger because you kept choosing discipline over relief. And one day, without warning, you notice something. Life starts responding differently to you. Not because luck changed, but because you did. You move with certainty now. You speak with clarity. You don't over-explain or seek approval. You know what you're capable of, because you've proven it to yourself, quietly. The pain that once broke you now feels distant, not because it disappeared, but because it no longer defines you. You used it. You turned setbacks into structure. You turned frustration into focus. You turned disappointment into discipline. And that is power. Real power is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It shows up every day and does the work. 2026 is not the year you become perfect. It is the year you become reliable. Reliable to your goals. Reliable to your standards. Reliable to the person you are building. And that reliability compounds. It builds confidence that cannot be shaken by opinions. It builds strength that does not collapse under pressure. It builds a life that is no longer fragile. You are no longer surviving. You are constructing. And construction always looks messy before it looks impressive. So when days feel slow, remember this. You are not behind. You are building something that lasts. When motivation disappears, remember this. Discipline does not require motivation. It requires commitment. When doubt returns, remember this. You are not the person who quit before. You are the person who stayed. And that changes everything. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 does not mean erasing your past. It means standing on it. It means using every failure as instruction. Every setback as data. Every mistake as refinement. You didn't start from zero because you were weak. You started from zero because you were brave enough to admit what wasn't working. And that honesty saved you. Now you rise. Not arrogantly, not loudly, but undeniably. You rise because your habits changed. You rise because your standards changed. You rise because you stopped negotiating with the version of yourself that wanted comfort over growth. This is not a temporary transformation. This is who you are now. Someone who finishes what they start. Someone who does the work, even when it's hard. Someone who rebuilds instead of running. 2026 didn't fix you. You fixed yourself. One disciplined day at a time. And this time, when life tests you again, you won't collapse. You're rebuilt.